Welcome to ISE's Equity Index Weekly Outlook, a weekly outlook on ISE and other industry indexes, hosted by Patrick Ceresna, a derivative market specialist and investment manager with extensive expertise in options and the broader derivative markets. ISE trades options on more than 15 proprietary sector indexes, as well as broad-based indexes and a variety of licensed benchmarks. ISE continually enhances its trading systems and develops new index options products to provide investors with the best marketplace and investment tools to trade smarter.
Hello and welcome to the ISE Equity Index Outlook for January 2nd, 2012. This is Patrick Ceresna. As always, we start off with a chart of the S&P 500 using that SPDR exchange rate fund symbol SPY. We've been talking about that support at the 120 level and the subsequent flagging formation going down there, suggesting that so long as the support's held, then that would have bullish follow through. Well, we definitely have seen that now. But we're coming to a substantial overhead resistance, and while we've been right about the fact that that flag would break higher, there is still a substantial obstacle right here up above that could still reject this market. It would only be on a substantial break to higher highs that we know that the market could probably follow through for the month of January, even up towards the 135 to 137 level. But all of it is going to depend on what happens in the overhead resistance levels right here at this 127 to 129 level. Next here, we're going to take a look at the ISE Regional Banks Index, which is symbol JLO. The regional banks, we were talking about that same flagging formation, and just like the S&P, it bullishly broke higher. Again, we're sticking right at an overhead resistance level. All we need is a good kick above the 21 level to really open up some upside room for the regional banks to make some further recovery. But really at this stage, again, we're optimistic about that bullish upside, but recognizing the fact that we're at substantial overhead resistance, and if it was going to reject anywhere, it would be literally right off these existing price levels. So one of the best things we could see early this week would be some bullish follow through and push nicely above the 21 level to new highs. Next year, I want to take a look at the ISE Syndex, which is symbol SIN. This is an index of all the casino, tobacco, and distillery companies. And essentially, the Syndex created that very big inverted head and shoulders pattern. And we were talking about the same flagging formation that we were talking about in regional banks and the S&P. We were suggesting that all of them would break together if they did. And you can see that the Syndex worked up higher just like the other indices did. But again, you can see that the Syndex also is trading exactly at those overhead resistance levels, and just like we suggested with the other ones, we need now a bullish push above this 131 level in order to really know that there's going to be some follow through, which would allow this index to even make it up to the 140, 142 level on the upside. Next year, I want to take a look at the ISE Home Builders Index, which is symbol RUF, and the home builders have gradually been still working their way higher. We drew in that trend line that connected all along the bottoms, and we're suggesting that so long as the home builders actually stay above that trend line, we still want to stay relatively open-minded to the idea that home builders can do relatively well. It would only be on a substantial break of that trend line that followed through with selling below 650 that would really make us bigger picture concerned about the change in trend. But even if this right now lost 45 cents in one day and immediately reversed back and pushed back higher, it wouldn't really be even a change in trend. So right now the trend is for this to slightly edge higher. Any breaks to higher highs here above 765 gives you at least 45-50 cents on the upside towards the $8 area, 8.10, and so we'll see whether any upside follow through can follow from here. Next year, we'll take a look at the ISE Natural Gas Index, which is symbol FUM. The Natural Gas Index is actually relatively weak in comparison to so many of the other indices. There continues to be pressure on these commodity indices, and the Natural Gas Index, certainly at this stage, while it certainly can strengthen upwards, the likelihood of there being a bullish push up towards 136, 140 is at this juncture a diminishing probability. If anything, the bulls can hope for a quick burst that can get it back to 120, 125 and retest those highs that it put in the months of November and December. But really at this stage, we're relatively neutral to even slightly negative on the natural gas index. Finally, I want to take a look at the ISE Mini FTSE 100 Index, which is a symbol UKX. We were talking about that same flagging formation as on the S&P and regional banks and Syndex and so on. Really, at that stage, it was just a consolidation, and all of it bullishly broke higher. At this stage, it's very likely that we see the FTSE make its way all the way to retest that 565, 570 level. Should have some overhead resistance there, but so long as the markets all stay relatively bullish, there is room for the FTSE to continue to strengthen. That was your ISE Equity Index Outlook. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for participating in this week's session. Please join us again next week. For more information about Patrick Ceresna and to sign up for free index options trade alerts, visit www.optionsource.net. To learn more about ISE index options, visit us at www.ise.com/indexoptions.